come down the valley with me. Come down where darkness came to be. Come down, the story still told. The night the shotgun slayer took hold. Come down the valley with me. No stranger thing has happened, you see. Come down, so brazen and bold. The night the shotgun slayer took hold.
Beaver County in the 70s was still an industrial county, but the greatest thing about it was the togetherness of the county. There was just a family-type atmosphere.
Until November 1977, the killings had happened everywhere but here. But the good nature and peacefulness of Beaver County was about to be shattered.
See, initially, it wasn't in Beaver County. It was almost like it happens everywhere but here. But when it came home to roost in Beaver County, then suddenly people said, oh my gosh, it's here.
Back on November 19th of 1977, the Pennsylvania State Police received a call of a dead body found off Anderson Road in Darlington Township. Anderson Road is one of the last parts of Pennsylvania before you cross over on Route 51 into Ohio. So the state police went out, began that investigation, and at that time, in 1977, they don't have the tools they have today. So it took a while to have this body identified. But what they had was a partially clad black female, young, who had no identification on her and very little to work with. It looked like what we consider, what we call a body dump.
There was nothing there that had any identification. So we didn't know what we could do there. We had no clue where she was from or anything else. After the autopsy, and I was a funeral director in the county, so I took her and did an embalming on her and set her features to normal look and everything. And we called in someone who was an artist. He came into the preparation room in the funeral home and he did a sketch of her. And then we turned that sketch over to the state police.
She was identified almost immediately as Patricia Randolph, who her friends and family referred to as Baby Doll Randolph, who had a questionable background, was possibly working as a prostitute, and she grew up in the Homewood Brushton area of Pittsburgh.
Patricia Baby Doll Randolph died of strangulation. On November 20th, 1977, a day after Baby Doll is found, William Adams is found shot to death in his Fallston trailer home.
They lived in a trailer on a car lot, on his dad's car lot. Someone had broken the window of the trailer, reached their hand in, unlocked the door, and came in.
The Adams 7-year-old son wakes up to find his mother missing and his father lying in the bedroom. After picking up glass from a broken window and throwing it away, he and his sister a popsicle. After playing with his sister for a while, he attempts to call his grandmother, but the phone cord is cut. So he goes next door to the family's business, Central Auto Sales, and uses the phone to call his grandmother.
When we initially went in to see the body and to process some of the evidence at the scene, we found pieces of paper laying there, and we determined that the pieces of paper were from Band-Aids. The detectives and I were talking about the killer coming in. He broke the window on the door, reached through the door, and opened it up. So we're thinking maybe he cut himself, but we're trying to figure how he's got a shotgun in one hand and probably a fighting woman in the other hand. But he would take time to get Band-Aids to bandage his cuts. We couldn't figure that out. And then on interview with the children, we found out that when they got up, they saw his wounds and they went to the medicine chest and got Band-Aids and tried to help their dad. To this day, I just can't even imagine the effect it had on the children to have to do that, to even try to do that.
Searches are conducted over the next few days for 29-year-old Nancy Adams, who dreamed of owning a house and was described by everyone who knew her as a devoted mother. Her 31-year-old husband, a quiet, introverted maintenance worker for Westinghouse Corporation with an enthusiasm for stock cars, is buried 3 days after his death.
At first, we couldn't figure out what had happened there. You run through a lot of scenarios trying to figure out what happened so that you can find a starting place. You wonder if maybe there had been a spat between the husband and wife, and maybe there was a boyfriend and something happened and she left. The evidence wasn't real clear on what we were looking at there. But then the trooper, Frank Keenan, when he arrived, took me aside and said, "We think we have a serial killer in the area, and we think this is his MO." So that shifted the focus of the investigation immediately, right at the scene, to something else.
Join us on the next episode of Notorious as the area continues to be preyed upon by an unknown killer. 5 more lives are taken before investigators finally get a big break in the case.